One thing they say about St. Louis, if you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes. It'll change. We've got an expert here that's going to talk all about it, how to make sure your home is protected. Stay tuned. Get up. Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. Yours truly, Carter Rethwish, the Cardinal Cowboy, and it's fun running around St. Louis. When we meet a lot of our guests, one of the first things they often say is, "Now you're that Cardinal Cowboy guy, right?" If you're a baseball fan in St. Louis, it's good for business too, isn't that true?
Absolutely.
If you find something in common with the people you're talking to. But with that, we've got an expert in the building here, Brian Donahue, who's the owner and founder of Horizon Roofing, mo.com, 636-734-7532. Decided to get into this early in your career. A smart man, because I tell you how many of us, and nothing against all of us who've decided to work for someone else most of our lives, and then we go, well, who's got all the money? Who's doing so well? Who's the one donating to all the charities and supporting the community? It's small business owners, and if you're in the construction space in the Midwest, there's always something going on, or a storm that's coming through. So it's been a little bit less this year. A couple of years ago, it was crazy. Wasn't it last year or the year before? But with that, we wanted to bring in an expert here to talk about what it's like to deal with our community's environment with regard to the weather and what you need to do to make sure you take care of the exterior of your house.
Sure.
With that, we'll give a shout out to Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Where do you have these nice things? They're in your little castle. See what we did there? Nice things, your little castle. But I'll tell you, Brian has a great looking Facebook page and website, and has been doing a great job in the community. And you can see he's got, I said, I think I know the people, the style of website you've got there, because we recommend the same company. It's essentially the format. And then each one of us are become independent contractors to make great looking websites. So with that, welcome to the Your Little Castle Show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell me, why did you decide to get into this realm of, it's a crazy world, a lot of construction out there to be done, but people are very demanding about their homes.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll shorten it. I worked at Nationwide Insurance as a claims adjuster for a handful of years and learned that side of going out. I was the guy who would show up and write you a check and say, you're good to get a new roof. And I would be there every day meeting with contractors like myself, and it always seemed like they were having more fun than we were having. So I decided to switch over to this side and started the company, and it's been a great blessing ever since then.
Yeah, I'll say by the time you get into this space where you've got just so much that goes, our community, things are growing too. I mean, you've got a lot of growth in the community because you've got so much. The country has gone from, I think if you look back, it's 170 million people 50 years ago or so, and now we're up to 330 plus visitors, and there's this continual need to have, and everybody needs a place to live. They talk about if there's anything, get into real estate, get into building, get into construction, because there's always a need for people to have a place to live. But was there an affinity you had for this as a kid that you were like, man, I really just have kind of a need to do something constructive, or what do you think that started off?
I learned the craft through working at Nationwide, and also my uncle has owned a roofing company for all of my life. So he was able to help me through the process of starting and learning to grow and all of that stuff. So it worked out great having him as a mentor, being able to help me move in this direction.
There you go. Yeah, if you got some family influence there that can help you. What do you think that has really led to your success? Obviously, I'm looking at your reviews. I'm like, holy cow! Everybody says good things about you.
Sure.
You stay on top of the ball there. What do you think that has led to your success?
So we intentionally stay small. It's myself. I founded the company. We have 4 sales reps, and everybody understands the culture of what we're trying to do. We know that we're trying to take care of people and do right in the community. And I find that if you get too big, it's hard to manage the quality of what you're putting out there as the product. So we're intentionally small and making sure that the guys that work for me are on point with the mission of what we're doing, just trying to take care of people, do the right thing for the community.
Yeah, I was going to say that leads right to my next question. I write down all the questions here. My mom's a drama teacher and English teacher. Says you must write these questions out. I knew that before I got started. But the next question is, tell us about the team. So the team has led to the success, you think, and you're keeping it a tight knit group. We're guys that are on the ball. You don't have to worry about who's working on the job. Do we have a new guy that I don't know? The guys will take care of each other, and it's a small crew. But you really believe that's what led to your success. And then tell me a little about the team you've got. And you've got, I think you said 4 guys out in the field. And
Yeah. So it's myself. The first guy who started with me very early on, his name is Kyle Hilsing, local guy from St. Louis. Everyone is local from St. Louis. He's been with me from the first year of the company, doing the sales process for, gosh, I don't know how long, quite a while now.
Yeah.
Fulton Mueller has stepped in, and he's been doing sales with us for 3 years now. Kyle Schrader has been doing sales with us for 3 years now, and everybody's just a bunch of local guys who understand that we're just trying to do the right thing out here.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've got a seasoned team and you've developed good relationships. How important has it been to have guys that you can get to know and work with closely to make sure that you're providing a good product?
It's the number one piece to our success, is making sure that I was with Kyle yesterday, and he said it himself. He said, everybody here understands and feels like they have some level of ownership in Horizon Roofing. They're just as concerned about the reputation of the company as I am.
Yeah, well, yeah, it seems like when you have guys that truly care and actually have their involved at the level because they work directly with the owner and they want to make sure that they have their source of income, but at the same time, when you're providing a good service and you're giving good quality work to people, the one hand washes the other. This works out for everybody.
Yep, we've become a primarily referral-based company. We just, word of mouth is our number one lead source.
There you go. If your word of mouth is a great way to run a business, but you better be doing good work if you're going to do that, right?
That's right.
No advertising can cover up bad workmanship, but obviously not at all what you're doing here. You've got great reviews. We're going to show those on the wall here in just a second. Tell me about your passion for this and what it's developed now. Like I said, somebody's decided to start early in their career instead of going to work for a lot of other people for a long time. Now you're in your 11th year, is that right?
That's right.
And what do you think it is that has fueled your passion to maintain this and keep it going?
I'm sure you can imagine it's hard to be passionate about asphalt shingles, but it's very good and easy to be passionate about helping others. So that's kind of the mission for us. Is we go through a process. The way that we look at it is we go through a process on a daily basis that these homeowners will only go through maybe 1 or 2 times in their entire life. And it's a big financial purchase, so it can be nerve-wracking. So we pride ourselves in being able to show up and calm these people's nerves through a process that they probably have never been through, but it's our job that we go through it on a day-to-day basis. So we're able to walk them through it. I mean, these processes can last anywhere from a couple of days if it's a retail roof to 3 to 4 months if it's an insurance process. So we get to know these people on a personal basis and spend months of time with them from the start to the finish of these projects.
Well said there. I'm going to get out the pencil. What's the pencil for? You got to write some things down, everybody. And this is an actual pencil. It's got real lead in there. But write that down because it's like going to court on your own. Why would you go there without a lawyer, right? Small claims, one thing, but if you're going through, you want to have somebody that's done this over and over again, especially if you're getting your own roof and you're doing a retail. But if you've gone through one of the storms that we've had in our region, which come through, we had 2 tornadoes a couple years ago in 1 year back to back, first time in like 31 years or something that had happened. But those situations are very stressful. That's where you really shine and help people to get through that process, working with the insurance companies.
Absolutely.
Tell me what that process is like a little bit when somebody goes through a claim like that and they're going, I'll call the insurance company. What do you recommend people do? How do you recommend they handle that?
Well, we partner with a lot of local agents, insurance agents throughout St. Charles, St. Louis area, and people will call their insurance agent. The agent will then tell them to call us, and they'll call us. We come out. We identify whether there is factually hail damage or wind damage or any storm-related damage that would be relevant for the insurance process. and we'll show them photographs, and then they can, we advise them to file a claim, and then eventually the claims adjuster will come out and most of the time buy the roof or buy whatever, whatever's damaged, and then we walk them through the process of fixing up their home.
Something you must have an expert for to make sure. I had another question there that you keyed on. Oh, how do you identify? These days you can see where a storm has gone through. There's software, I understand.
Yep.
Tell me about that. And this is how big the hail was, and this is how long it went, and this is what you're looking at. So you can pretty well indicate before you meet with somebody, okay, yeah, likely you had some serious damage here, or not.
Absolutely. But we still like to get up on the roof and identify if there is actually damage, because the last thing we want to do is advise somebody down a direction and it doesn't work out for them. So we're still going to go check the thing out in person and make sure that there is justifiable damage to pursue that.
Is it best to have somebody take a look right after a storm happens, or how long should you wait, or is there a period of time it's too long to wait?
A lot of times, so most insurance companies have a time frame which you are allowed to file a claim. Some is 1 year after a storm date, some are 2 years after a storm date. So you certainly want to hop on it within that time frame. But whether it's a day or a couple of months doesn't usually make much of a difference. Yeah, I just seen because one thing we were talking about, this is something we don't talk about all the time, but somebody I know waited 2 years, and it seemed like effectively they were saying, we've already paid for all the roofs we're going to pay for in here, so we're declining this one. Or maybe the wind just didn't affect their roof as badly, but that's all stuff you can help them determine and walk them through the process. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those are important things you don't want to take for granted. And so St. Louis, watch out. With that, reviews. This is impressive. I always look these up before we start our interview, but on the wall behind me here, I'll hit our TV wall number 2. There it is. I'm trying to find a bad review. 122 reviews, a 5.0. You're not going to find bad reviews here. As I scroll through, let's just grab one here. Very happy that I chose Horizon. Working with Fulton Mueller was amazing. His knowledge helped me to get my home back and in great shape. Can't recommend Fulton and his crew enough for the quality work they've accomplished. Thank you for doing a little more. Ooh, let me click the more button. There it is. Wonderful job. Gutters, roof inspection, roof installation services, not listed above and beyond. Thanks for the great review. We're glad Fulton and the team was quality work for you. A great experience. We appreciate your support. It's got to make you feel good to see some of that.
It does. It does. It brings a great sense of pride knowing that we're doing the right thing out in the community, taking care of people. Like I said, I may be repeating myself, but all we're trying to do is take care of people. We know this. We know the process. We know how to do it, and all we can do is deploy our knowledge to help the people.
There it is. If you've got some expertise and you're willing to help make a difference, and it makes you feel good to help people, then you might have a good career here. How often are you hiring? Have you got a pretty good set crew at this point? Not hiring?
I love my guys. We're happy with where we're at. We're not hiring sales reps, very often. We kind of, like I said, we keep the team small. That way we can make sure that everybody understands the mission of what we're trying to do. But if the right person comes along, we're certainly always open to it.
Good. It's a very stable environment you've got, and it sounds like you've got a good crew, and always want to be very particular about who it is you bring into your team. Well, with that, we'll give a little community piece we've got here. A lot of people are familiar with my buddy Nino, and we get to hang out with him periodically before the Cardinals games. Cardinals, we talked a little baseball here. And Brian, he's a baseball guy as well, so we like the fact that so much baseball in our community that we all enjoy, and the Cardinals are kind of surprising a few people there. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back here in just a minute. Hey, everybody. Guess what? We get to have fun all the time at the Cardinal games. Before the game, we get to hang out with fun super fans. Say hello to my buddy Nino over here, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie. That's right. Everybody's in the video here. Family coming out to the game. Nino, what do you love about going to Cardinal games?
You love baseball?
Yeah. He loves baseball. Hey, all right. Scoring points with the Cardinal Cowboy.
Yeah, he plays Miracle League baseball.
Do you really?
And he likes to be on the Cardinals team at home.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how many times have you been on that team? How many times have you done that?
A lot.
That's a good answer. All right. Dad, what's it like coming to the Cardinal games with your son and your wife, and all the fun you get to have down here?
Oh, it's the most fun. I mean, we've been coming since Old Bush, You know, now we've got New Busch Stadium. It's the best baseball town, and it's the most fun. You know, it's fun before the game. The games are always great, and we love it.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time here. We're at Patios, everybody. This is where the most fun is. I get to wear the full outfit here. I got the pants, the socks, the arch, Nino, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie all here, and we're outside Patios having fun. Hey, say hi to Patios. Stop on by here before a Cardinal game, and we'll see you guys soon. Nino, give me some knuckles. There we go. Go Cardinals. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. By now, we are on ABC 5 times a week. So many businesses are loving what we're doing to help them get their name out there. We'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you, and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. Takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Professional video on your website closes more sales by instantly building trust, clearly explaining complex products, and keeping visitors engaged longer, reducing bounce rate by 34%. It'll help you to gain that credibility, increase engagement, simplify complex tasks, lower your sales friction, and boost your rankings on the search engine. So this is all kind of a no-brainer. See how we've now had over 500 interviews and now almost 250 different business owners. Go to bigleagues.com. That's bigleagues.com. Go to bigleagues.com and get signed up. You can schedule right from there. So like we say, lots of fun. We get to partake in the community. My buddy Nino, it's one of my favorite clips. We've played that one a couple times. But boy, if you feel like you're having a bad day, just go talk to Nino. He'll help you understand what life is all about. Somebody who I can relate with, going through my coma and what I went through. Man, life is short. Do what you can to help as many people along the way, and you will be happy. While we bring in experts like this who have worked in our community for so long to make an impact. Let's do a little cost analysis. As a computer nerd, I'm a baseball guy, so I always do my stats. If I go 2 for 3 today, I'll be hitting 380, or whatever it might have been at the time. 420 when we were kids, like you hit 500 when you're a little kid. I did hit 523 in the men's league. I won the batting title. They're like, Cowboy can play ball. I'm like, I told you guys, if I hadn't got hit by the drunk driver. God had a different plan, though. But give me a quick cost analysis. If somebody wants to, you've got a storm came through and they say, oh, my brother-in-law can do this. We can go buy the materials up at the big box store. Why would you recommend that's not a good idea?
You know, it's really helpful to know, especially when you're talking about something like your roof or like your foundation or things like that. These are some of the most important aspects of your home that's protecting your home from further damages, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, as much as it's great to possibly use your brother-in-law, you probably want to use somebody who's done it a couple of times, you know what I mean? And the reviews, as we just went through, show that we've done it a couple of times, you know.
Yeah, we've done this a couple times. Yeah. When you're replacing a roof, this is the most important asset you own. The roof is the most critical part to protecting it. You don't want to cut corners and do things halfway. I looked up when somebody said half and then another back. What's the other side? Half, and referring to the posterior of somebody. You can't say that on television though. But you don't want to do things in a half qualified way, we'll say. But
Sure,
you want to make sure they're done right. And you've got some experience at it, which goes into how you do things correctly. That's important. Well, tell me, why should somebody choose you? Obviously, you've got a lot of experience. You've got a lot of people raving about your work. What do you think it is that really sets you apart?
I think, you know, we have an aspect in our company culture of a faith-based pursuit of all of this stuff. So, you know, we think that there is importance to making sure that the job is done right. We believe that we're going to have to atone for what we do in this life, right?
Right.
So we're going to make sure that we're doing the right thing every day. You know, do the right thing, and the right thing comes back to you. So, you know, there's some companies that may do that, and some companies that may not have that value as important.
Yeah, well, it's important stuff to talk about there. A lot of people are afraid to talk about this. I'm glad you bring it up. But yeah, who are you accountable to? Ultimately, if you believe there's a higher power, somebody up there watching down, they see what you're doing. They created this whole system, and if you're taking advantage of people, you may get away with that for a little while, but eventually you will atone for that. I like that Christian background. We both went to private schools. We mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so nothing against that. And public schools do a great job too, but they do talk a little religion when you go to the private schools, and so a little different perspective you get there. And appreciate you bringing that up.
Sure.
Any specific certifications? I mean, I know that you have a preferred vendor. Did you say?
Yeah, we are a preferred vendor of Owens Corning,
Corning,
one of the major manufacturers in the country.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's the Big Panther, right?
Yeah,
They're the same company, and they do a great job. But yeah, why do you like them, and what's important about the fact that when you're doing the work and you're installing their materials, they get a service warranty that is included too, because you're certified to do the installation. So
That's correct.
Owens Corning backs it up.
Yeah. We like it. So, for one, the crews who do the installations, they really like the Owens Corning because there is the nail strip on the shingle. So it makes it really simple for them to be able to identify where the nails are supposed to go. Because one of the biggest problems that you can run into for wind damage is if you miss the proper nailing strip, then the shingle will not be as locked into place. So, the Owens Corning does a really good job of identifying where the nails should go. So we're making sure that we're properly installing these roofs.
That would seem to be important. Make sure you know where the nails go, everybody. And so Owens has developed a system that makes it very precise.
Yes.
And so that you get water that leaks because the nail didn't get put in the right place. Wind blows up, water leaks in, mold, mildew, all those things that you don't want to.
That's right.
In your home. Important to understand that. And then bonded, insured, and all the other important things. If somebody wants to go off and do this themselves, their brother-in-law doesn't have insurance, he puts a tree limb through somebody's window or something, those are things that aren't going to be covered, then
right.
You're on your own. You want to have the proper insurance to make sure you're backing this up too.
Yep, we make sure that we've got all the proper licensing and pulling all the permits as necessary and all of the necessary insurances to make sure that your home is safe and make sure that the crews are safe.
Yes, safety is obviously a key for everybody. You want to make sure that people have all the regulations with regard to that and the right kind of ladders and all that stuff. I can tell you a quick story. My dad did a lot of work himself. He even tied it down at the bottom, and then the ladder went shh like this, and he ended up smacking his face. He says he almost ruined his plow. But he had to get his teeth replaced. But these kinds of things, if you got the proper insurance, now you boy, you go to do all that. Why would you want to mess with that? Get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right, right.
You got the crews to do that. What do you think some of the biggest benefits, though? I like the fact you deliberately do stay as a smaller size business. 4 guys to work with you directly in your crews and tight knit. What do you think some of the benefits you bring to your clients are because you are a smaller business focused on staying small?
You know, I don't want to say anything against larger companies per se, but I think it's really important to make sure that your guys actually are seasoned and they know what they're doing and they know how to properly quote, to make sure that we're, you know, offering a quality service, but also at a reasonable and fair price. You know, and if you get too big, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult to maintain that level of quality that we want to offer. So, you know, all of my sales reps have been with me a long time, and they know how to do this, they know how to do it right, and they know they not only are sales reps, but they are the project managers. So they're on site. If we're doing a roof and gutters and siding and soffit and fascia for somebody's home, which we do many times, they're going to be physically on site during these installations, making sure that everything is going as planned. And, you know, if you have somebody who's only been doing it for a few weeks or a few months, that makes that a little bit more difficult to do that project management aspect of it. So we pride ourselves in having these guys who know exactly what they're doing, and they've done it hundreds of times, so it's just repetitive.
Yes, okay. A system in place. I like the fact that you mentioned that your sales guys, a lot of times sales just does sales, they hand it off to somebody else, project manager takes it from there, but you're saying your guys, when they make the sale now, they're responsible for the project management as well. So
That's correct.
They handle both roles, but they've got now an incentive to make sure this goes right.
Right.
So that they don't lose the sale, because if something goes wrong, they say, cancel the deal, I want my money back. That's not going to happen, it's likely, because they're skin in the game to make sure these are installed correctly too.
Yeah, I think it's good to make sure that the quality is there, because that person is in charge of the process from A to Z, and they know what the next step is going to be after the roof is installed. We know that the gutters are going to go on. After that, we're going to go ahead and move forward with the siding. And if you have too many hands in it, you know, things can get slipped out of order.
Yeah, well, don't get things slipped out of order, especially as we're talking about working on a home. We're about to finish up here. I've got a great question. We're going to start off the next show, but what's the biggest mistake? Tune into the next show. The biggest mistake, Brian will tell us what it is that people make. But before we get into that, when you talk about exteriors, there's a product called James Hardie siding. Tell me a little bit about you install James Hardie, and you like it. You like the results you get from it.
Yeah, so James Hardie is a newer product that is replacing a lot of vinyl siding around the St. Louis area. We've been experiencing a lot more hailstorms, and so the vinyl siding doesn't hold up quite as well to this hail as James Hardie does. It's a much superior product to vinyl, and we've been getting into installing it, and customers just love the outcome. The look is beautiful, and it's a superior product.
Yeah,
so.
it's like a thick plaster, if am I right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And versus your vinyl, it's just not near as much.
Yeah, and whenever the hail hits that, it seemingly does nothing. But the vinyl, it cracks right through.
Stay tuned, everybody. You're watching Your Little Castle Show.